What is up, guys? It's Ian here. Today I have a review for you guys of the Epure Corded Mobile Handset. Now this is basically for any phone, tablet, or PC, and this is made by Swiss Voice. You can find Swiss Voice at swissvoice.net. I will have a link for this in the description down below. Now I have not been able to find this on their website on like how to buy this. Maybe I'll look a little bit longer and find out the link to buy it, but I found it on Amazon for a reasonable price of $40. I'll tell you at the end of the video if I think it's worth it, but just if you want to know where you can get it, you can get it at Amazon. I will have that link in the description down below. Now this guy comes in pink and white, blue and white, orange and white, green and white, and just white on white. So they have a lot of colors to choose from. They sent me the orange and white, and personally I like it a lot. It looks pretty cool, and if I could choose another color, maybe I'd get blue and white or green and white because those also look pretty cool. But yes, they do have pretty cool colors and they do look pretty cool. Now the main purpose of this is so you can connect it to your mobile phone, tablet, or PC, and you can make and receive phone calls. Now that's not all you can do, but that's mainly what you can do. So when you're making and receiving the phone calls, one of the great things about this is that you can enjoy the ease of this and you can see your mobile phone display while still being on the call. Many of the phones, the smartphones specifically that you talk on, if you put them up to your ear, the screen shuts off because they do have a photo sensor to see if there's light being blocked by your face. So they will know if the phone is up to your face. However, if this is up to your face, your phone does not know that it needs to shut off its screen, so you can still use your phone screen and be talking normally. You don't have to be on speakerphone to see the phone screen, so that's pretty awesome. So you can remove mobile phone radiation away from your head by using this, because you're no longer having your phone up to your head, you have this up to your head, and it's pretty cool. All you gotta do is just plug this into a 3.5mm headphone jack, and it works like a charm, so it's pretty cool. Now you can also activate voice control from the handset, which is the corded handset, but this mainly only works on the iPhone 4, 4S, and 5. I don't even think the 4 even has Siri, so mainly it's limited to the iPhone 4S and the iPhone 5. So if you have Siri, you can also activate Siri via this corded handset. Now, one thing about this is that it does have an iPhone feature and a regular phone feature. So when you have it in the iPhone feature, you just slide a little thing, kind of like the vibrate silence switch on the iPhone itself, but it's this little toggle. You slide it, and then it allows you to switch from regular phone mode to iPhone mode, which is going to have it compatible to iPhones and give it more things you can do with the iPhone. If you keep it in the regular mode for most Android and smartphones, you're going to only be able to really not even raise the volume. You'll only be able to pause and play music and answer and drop calls, so that's the only thing you'll be able to do. If you have it in iPhone mode, you can also activate Siri, and you can also change your volume, so that's pretty awesome. Now that's basically it for my little facts about this. Otherwise, you guys can go to the website itself and find out more about this guy. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Alright, so let's start out by just showing you guys the entire cord itself. So this cord is very long. I don't know exactly how long it stretches, but right now it's going to stretch a good, I think maybe 6 feet at least, because it's very long. It's already like 2 feet without stretching it out, and it's highly coiled, so I think it might work to be about 6 feet if you can stretch it that far. This is a perfectly normal headphone jack. However, many of these 90-degree headphone jacks don't work with phones that have strange cases. So if it doesn't work with your case, you might have to take your case off. In case you guys are wondering if anything else comes in the box, nothing else really comes in the box except for instructions and this friction pad. This pad, I don't really know what it's made out of. You can kind of see it in the background. That is where you can place the corded handset and your mobile device. You can both keep them on that pad, and whenever somebody calls you, just have the phone that you're using, place it on the pad and pick up the corded handset, and you'll be able to talk all fine and good. And really the only other thing included is a instruction manual, a quick start guide, stuff like that. I mean, honestly, you don't even need that. This thing is so simple to use that you don't even need instructions. I figured it out in a couple of minutes because the buttons all mainly do the same thing. But it's pretty obvious, and that's pretty cool. So first, I'll show you a non-Android device. This is the Samsung Galaxy S3, so this is an Android phone, but it is still a smartphone. So by clicking the D-pad, the bottom button of this D-pad on the corded handset, I can play and pause the music. So that's one feature, and this is how it works. You will also use this button to drop and answer the call. So It works basically the same way on both Android and iPhones. However, on the iPhone, when you put it into iPhone mode, you can raise the volume. Unfortunately, on Android phones, you can't raise the volume, and you cannot access your voice search and your speech recognition and all that kind of stuff. You can only do that on iPhone with Siri. So now I'm going to show you the Samsung Galaxy S3, but I'm going to experiment with the modes that it is in. So I'm going to put it into iPhone mode instead of regular smartphone mode to see if there's any difference in how I can use it, to see if I can raise the volume or access speech recognition. It's not looking like I can do that. It seems like I can only still pause or play the song. It doesn't seem as though I can raise the volume. So I'll put it back into iPhone mode, and it's not working. Unfortunately, you will only be able to use this. Either way you do it, you will only be able to use this with an iPhone. No matter how you put the Samsung Galaxy S3 and no matter what settings you're using, only iPhones will work, unfortunately. So I tested an Android device. Now let's test an iPhone to see if it will work with volume control. So I'm going to put it into the regular smartphone mode, not the iPhone mode, and see if it works with volume control. So right here, I cannot adjust the volume in regular smartphone mode, just like I could not do it on the Samsung Galaxy S3. Now I'm going to change the setting to the orange mode, which is for iPhones and iOS devices. So it's in the orange position, and I'm going to flick the volume toggle up and down like so, and as you can see, there is a difference between the volumes, so I can actually adjust the volume in the iPhone mode. So right here you have probably the most important part of this handset, and that is the microphone. This is what you're going to be able to use for people to be able to hear what you're saying. Through my tests and asking people how I sounded after I called them, people said that I was crisp, clear, and loud enough, so it's a good high-quality microphone. And right above that, you may be wondering if that's a real speaker. No, that is not a real speaker. It just looks like it. I have not been able to get any audio to come out of there. So up top over here, you have your real speaker. You will use this speaker to talk to people. You're going to be able to hear what they're saying. This is not like the one on the bottom that I showed you. Sound actually comes out of here. And below that, you have your D-pad. You can use this to talk to Siri, drop calls, pick up calls, and if you want to, you can even pause and play music. So now I'll show you how you can use this to multitask with your iPhone. You can be on your home screen or doing whatever you want and still be on the call, and then go back to the call if you want, and then simply from there you can end the call by clicking the bottom button right there. Pretty simple, huh? So right here I'll show you how you can use this handset to raise the volume of your phone while you're on the call or whatever you're doing. So you can simply unlock your phone to connect to the caller, and then as you can see, I'm not touching the volume buttons on the iPhone, but I'm touching the buttons on the handset, and the volume is being raised. So if you're doing that and you have an iPhone, you'll be able to do this, and that's how you make the person you're calling either louder or quieter. It's really easy. So many of you may be wondering if this is comfortable and if I like to use it more than I like to use my iPhone or any other smartphone to talk. Well, I have to admit, this is probably the most comfortable thing I've ever put up to my ear and talked to, because it's just way more comfortable than an iPhone or any other smartphone available, because it's large, and even though all the smartphones, the new concepts are to make it smaller and thinner, I like this old return to how things used to be, because you can hold this and it's very comfortable to use. It's even larger than my landline phone, which is actually a really good thing in my opinion, because I can squeeze this. My entire fist fits around the center of this, so I can cup it really nicely against my ear and my shoulder, or I can hold it, and it's very comfortable. The quality of this is so nice, and I like it a lot, so I give them a good thumbs up for that. So yeah, I really like that. So overall, I think this is a really solid product. The only thing is, it's kind of expensive in my opinion, and for my taste, I personally would not pay this much for something that only does exactly what your phone already does, just slightly more comfortable. So if this was maybe 20 bucks, I'd definitely go out and buy it. However, it's 40 bucks. So I would personally say, if you have 40 bucks, go ahead, why not get it? But if you have not that much money and you don't really have that much to spend, I'd say just stay with your iPhone or whatever phone you have, because even though it's comfortable, even though it's great, and even though I love it, it's a little bit too expensive for my taste. However, you can keep listening if you do have enough money for this. So I really liked it because it was really comfortable. The sound quality on this guy was amazing. I had a conversation with a company for around half an hour, and it was just amazing, and I just love talking on this phone. It's so much comfortable. Plus, for some reason, whenever I'm talking on this phone, it makes me feel like I'm 10 times more professional. I don't know why, but it just does. So honestly, I think if you're going to be using this and you're going to be talking for long periods of time, over 10 minutes, definitely get this if you have enough money, as I said. And if you aren't talking that long, then I'd say maybe hold off on it, because if you're only having like 2-minute conversations, it's not worth it if you're only going to be using it 2 times a day, maybe for 2 minutes each. So you don't really need this unless you're talking for long periods of time, multiple times a day, or if you just enjoy sitting down, leaning back, and having a conversation. I know if I ever want to talk to my grandparents or anything like that because they don't live in my state, I definitely use this. I talk to them. Actually, my grandpa called me one time, and I plugged this into my iPhone in a couple seconds, hooked it up, and then I was talking to him, and it was great. So I really like this product, and I think it's definitely worth it if you have enough money, as I said. Otherwise, yeah, rate, comment, and subscribe. Go check out Swiss Voice at swissvoice.net. I will have a link for this in the description down below. And yeah, that's basically it. Rate, comment, and subscribe.